What Eefa means to me by Sixto J. Novatun, Yoruba Lucumi Eefa Priest, Iwari Roti, Eefa, Odara. Introduction. Definition of Eefa. Eefa is a binary communication system forged upon the concept of identifying negative and positive relationships generated through our emotional, psychological, physical, and spiritual everyday life exchanges within society and the natural world. The traumatic effects of our societal exchanges, stresses, and roles played are identified through a divination ritual. Then, a positive or negative karma prognosis is diagnosed. Following is the identification of a divine force, divinity, that will support the expunging of negative karma or the securing of positive karma via spiritual healing therapy rituals. The work is performed by a Yoruba Eefa shaman or Babalawo, ordained minister. Origins Eefa. No one knows the true origins of Eefa. There is much speculation as to where it began. What we do know is that Olodumare, God, delivered this system of religious guidance to divinity by the name of Orunmila. Orunmila is a deity belonging to the pantheon of forces within the indigenous Yoruba people of Nigeria. Orunmila is said to be responsible for the teachings, initiation rites, and the creation of the shamanistic priesthood order of the Babalawo going back thousands of years. The Matrix. Eefa is a 256 oracle matrix system or database that's expressed through binary 4-bit character symbols in zeros and ones. These symbols are indexes to over 256 chapters of essays, treatises, proverbs, and ritual instructions organized into a literary corpus from oral vernacular means. Eefa, the system, is synonymous with Orunmila, the deity, whereas the system and deity become one with its intellect, proprietary propagation, holiness, sage mastery, and communication system as a whole. Orunmila and Eefa guide the Babalawo in interpretation and communication with divinities, ancestors, and spiritual forces, followed by proficiently ascertaining the correct ritual needed for solving societal stresses, but not limited to all issues about health, economic, family, legal, and behavioral and of all spiritual nature. The Babalawo. It is the duty of the Babalawo through Orunmila to support a positive outcome to all people's life struggles. It is the solemn position of Orunmila as a deity to support the destinies of all mankind, and this is accomplished through the Babalawo performing righteous, ethical, and correct duties. It is through the will of God, Olodumare, that Eefa exists. It's through the will of God that we exist. If the universe is possible, the sun, the planetary forces, earth, nature, and mankind are possible, then the angels, gods, deities, and all other mystical forces are possible too, divine forces or energies. God, Olodumare, or a universal conscious will that has not been denied existence as a life-generating force itself used Hache or will. The Hache is the will or divine manifestation of the life force prevalent in the universe, which we all possess within, demonstrated by being a living organism. We have the power of God and its will or Hache to make ourselves manifest on earth, as all energies and forces do so as well. God generated Eefa in the universe from Hache as a universal language of sorts. Spirit, divinity, angel, demon, Orisha deity, host, force, energy, sound wave, echo, electromagnetic wave, plasma, pulse, or pulsar are all a something, essence, substance, being, mist, a beam of light, microbiological or molecular constructs working together within the dust, air, water, gas, metals, or simply elements that are in nature and part of this universe. All these things have or are their unique collective consciousness or part of a greater one. They're again a manifestation of subconscious will, which has not been denied existence. God used Eefa to catalogue, quantify, categorize, reference, organize, show order, show hierarchy, show the interactions between forces, set rules, and acknowledge treaties amongst energies from a Yoruba religious perspective. In Eefa, if a word has the power to affect an individual, then there is a force spirit behind it, which is witness to its existence as a substance, force, or idea. Examples are curse, betrayal, envy, jealousy, hatred, bigotry, anxiety, illness, losses, death, tyranny, misery, anguish, greed, glutting, and witchcraft. These can be deemed as negative energies or spiritual forces in themselves. Love, kindness, reward, health, admiration, appreciation, gratitude, help, raid, support, happiness, progress, prosperity, perseverance, empathy, giving, intelligence, wisdom, and good character can be deemed positive energies and attributed to be spiritual forces too. The oracles of Eefa will support the identification of the negative or positive energies in a person's karma. Then, a practical healing therapy solution ritual is prescribed to balance an individual's self and environment. Through the satisfying of identified energies, negative accumulated traumatic effects are released and expunged, and a positive change in events is realized. In essence, all negativity blocks positive progress. There is no set number of healing therapies that any one individual needs or has to have done. Everyone accumulates and releases negative energies differently and at different intervals in time. Individuals have to be given time to understand that they have to consistently keep working at getting rid of accumulated baggage, and many give up before they're able to notice a change. About good and evil. Good and evil don't exist in the realm of forces or energies. These are either positive, negative, or neutral. Good and evil are a manifestation of man's choices and decision-making that generate a good or bad outcome. Energies as spiritual forces serve their function in the air, on Earth, subterranean, oceanic, throughout the atmospheres, outer space, and in our communities. Forces live to coexist, influence, and depend on one another in all their environments. They give way to a positive, negative, or neutral state of being at the time of their interactions. We acknowledge these forces, appease them, and obtain a positive result. Although there are situations we can't change, there are many that can be influenced through the correct interaction of forces transpiring. Henceforth, the need for a spiritual communication system that all forces can communicate and adhere to, and this is Eefa. What do all forces do? Forces live off of one another, work with one another, and feed off of each other. Energies bend, blend, mutate, extinguish, recycle, and regenerate all over again. There is a divine purpose to all forces, and they hold positions in nature and the universe. We also need to identify ourselves with having a purpose and living out that purpose is in flesh and spirit. Eefa supports the finding of one's purpose along with ensuring that the right occurrences transpiring in our lives lead to happiness in achieving our goals. Death. Death is a state of consciousness for beings that have a soul and believe in the spirit form of life after death. The body gives in and expires, then decomposes as organic matter that it is. It returns to Earth to serve the purpose of providing nutrients or nourishment for the germination or regeneration of all organic substances. In essence, the breakdown of a living organism in nature for the regeneration of life. The human aspect of the soul wanders during its beginning stages of death. The first thing the soul encounters is whether the individual, human aspect of the soul has accepted its death. Secondly, can this soul detach itself from having left, or is it agonizing because it was not ready to let go? So, we think so we are, where our heads take us, there will we be, as stated in the Eefa literary corpus Odu of Ayogbe. Are we spiritual enough to accept our death, detach from a materialized and accept a spiritual form? Do we have a choice in staying behind for a while? Because we are now spirit and attempt to change or influence things for those we left behind. Or, do we stay behind because of unfinished and unresolved issues, which until completed we don't transcend to a higher sense of consciousness? After death, does a soul attract negative, dark, forces and serve them, because of the negative life it had led? Or, does it attract light, positive, forces and serve them as well because of the positive life it's led? In serving one or the other, the soul or human spirit continues to have and perform tasks leading to the completion of its journey. This gives way to conditions having been met for them to regain a new materialized life form, regenerating or reincarnating and starting a materialized life all over again, i.e., in death, and through living in the land of the dead. Human existence has the chance to complete unfinished business. It's allowed to fix or correct its wrongs and make things right. In this way, it will eventually rest in peace. Until then, the walking dead are the chosen energies by the divine forces to influence mankind in his environment. The energy or sustenance that they as spirits obtain to work are our libation offerings, ritual sacrifices, and decomposed organic matter taken when not given warranty. These become treaties and pacts between the living and dead for the mutual support that they both need. Eefa says, mankind needs the land of the dead to believe in God, and the land of the dead needs mankind to manifest God's influence upon mankind, as stated in the Odu Oyekan Meji, Eefa literary corpus. Orishas. These are the divine forces that God has chosen as instruments for influencing change in man's life. The Orisha as a universal spiritual force or energy manifests itself as an energy that births itself into human form, lives among mankind and dies as an ancestor becoming deified. These deified ancestor souls of higher light interact with the land of the dead. This interaction occurs through channeling the transference of energy through ritual. Ritual is the formula for initiating a spiritual event, occurrence, and change. Its results are experienced in very subtle coincidental outcomes. Rituals serve to remove the human psyche from the societal materialized construct and move us into a spiritual construct. In essence, transcending movement of spiritual energy that occurs. Man gives names to beings or energies to humanize them. Yet, as far as anyone can sense, their existence is beyond our humanization of them. We are to work alongside forces in support of our environment and work diligently at providing a peaceful coexistence with all forces and divinities. We are a divergence, a variable, an exception to rules, and the give and take within life and death alongside forces as needed in proof and support of our existence. We must submit to balance. We're a force that coexists within nature and need not take life, energy, and our environment for granted. Man's punishment upon itself is due to disrespect, arrogance, vanity, and taking all energies, surroundings, and environments in vain. If there is a divine religious order or spiritual system for a man to balance himself within the natural forces, it is Eefa. An individual doesn't have to become indoctrinated in Eefa or have to submit to a priesthood of Eefa to benefit from Eefa. All they need is to have spiritual services conducted by an ordained Eefa priest to help his walks of life on earth.